Alright, so today I'm gonna be going over the Razer Viper P3 Pro. Um, yeah, so this is the box that comes with. Pretty standard box. The packaging is pretty standard. After I opened it, kinda just get the basic stuff. The nuts goes in here. The Viper P3 Pro pamphlets. You get your Razer stickers, your grips, and yeah, it's pretty standard packaging. I had the minimal packaging actually. It's pretty solid. So yeah, the initials of this mouse were, when I first got it, is the main thing a lot of people say about it is actually the size. So they are right. It is a pretty big mouse. Me having kind of medium to larger hands, it was honestly a good feeling for me. I've heard other reviewers talk about the fact that maybe for other people, smaller hands, maybe on the smaller side of medium or smaller hands in general, this might not be the mice for you. So yeah, you could tell it is pretty big. In comparison to like a center mouse, maybe like a super light V2, it's slightly bigger than that. So that's something to keep in mind with this mouse. But yeah, overall, on an initial look, we're very solid. So design and build quality. This mouse is built very well. No complaints at all. When it comes to any of that. The one thing I can say is when I first unboxed it, I know it gets praised a lot in a lot of reviews I saw for build quality, and yeah, but when squeezing it, there was some creaks. They did go away, so I don't know if y'all can hear that, but there is no creaks anymore, which is a good thing, of course. And yeah, it's probably the best mouse in terms of build quality I've had. And yeah, I'm coming from Lambda Atlantis Mini. Coming from that, this is definitely a step up. It feels very solid. And of course it's very light. The material for this mouse, it's very unique. I don't know what it is. I mean, of course it's a plastic, but it's a very nice plastic. So in game, it feels very grippy. When your hands are dry, it's grippy. And another thing that's important about this mouse is that when your hands get like clammy, I guess, or moist, of course sweaty, it performs even better. So that's something that most people wouldn't expect, but it's almost like when your hands get sweaty, it's even more locked in. Like you get an even more locked in feel. It slips in less. I mean, of course it doesn't slip when your hands are dry, but just get an even better feeling. I have heard that the white version of this mouse, I have never held the white version, but I have heard from other reviews that it does seem to, I guess, not have the same experience. People don't say that it's of course slippery, but not as solid of a coating as this. Of course, probably due to the extra layer that they add, because it's white, so it doesn't yellow. Of course, if you want the white version, get the white version. I don't think it's gonna be ruining your aim or ruining your experience with this mouse, but it's definitely might affect your experience. But especially if you have a little bit more of sweaty hands, I would recommend the black version. For shape, so shape is, I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's a pretty kind of similar shape to their last mouse or to their other mice. But I would say I think I held the Cobra. I've had a Viper Mini, the wired one. I think, yeah, and I mean it's not the same shape as those, but it's definitely more of a off feeling shape, I would say. So more relatable to like a super light V2, super light, especially more relatable to maybe like a Lambda, the new Lambda mice that have been coming out, the Maya X, kind of similar to those types of mice. But of course with its own shape, you guys can see that. And it definitely feels for claw grip, which more like a relaxed claw grip. It feels very solid. Holding it back here, holding it up front a little bit with my grip, very nice too. I really like the shape. For medium to larger hands, it's definitely a solid pick, and I feel like it's a very nice mouse. I feel like ergonomically too just works. I mean, kind of just, you feel so locked in. it kind of, for me at least, it fills all the right places in my hand. I can grip it nicely. I feel secure. I feel locked in. I feel pretty much perfect when I'm playing with this mouse. Something I forgot to mention about when I was unboxing it is it does come with grip tape. Or not the fact that it comes with grip tape, but I actually did use the grip tape on this mouse. So I use the sidewalks. They're here, and it wasn't the best experience with the grip tape. Overall, I would not recommend the grip tape on this mouse. I like the feeling of it at the start. I mean, I guess when you first start getting it with the grip tape on, it feels solid, but the more you play with the grip tape, as your hands get sweaty, as your hands get more moist, it just kind of starts slipping. At least for me. But overall, I mean, you can see here, it has a nice design. I like how it feels, but it's just the grip on it doesn't really help me. If anything, it feels worse than wallets, and this is just a very solid coating, so I would recommend to skip the grip tape. Overall, it's 54 grams, so it's very light. And it feels very light. It feels even lighter than 54 grams, honestly. Of course, because of the size. Being a pretty big mouse at 54 grams, it feels really, really light. It feels really good. I like it. I know some people would say that you need a lighter mouse than this, which you could get, but I feel like this is a perfect weight. Maybe getting a little bit lower could help some people, but for shooters like Valorant, for CSGO, this is a solid weight. I don't think you would need to go lower. Maybe if you're playing more fast-paced games like Apex or something, I could see why you might want a lighter mouse, but even then, I think this is a great pick, especially with the shape, which just works really well for claw. It'll work really well for bigger hands. If you have bigger hands, highly recommend. Even if you have medium to larger hands, on the larger side of medium hands, which like me, it's a very solid mouse. So the performance, this does use the Focus Pro 35K. Of course, their newest sensor, 8000 Hz polling rate, optical Gen 3 switches, and battery life is great. Latency, pretty much non-existent. You're definitely not going to be losing latency on this mouse. Pretty much some of the best. You don't notice any latency. Yeah, the sensor is solid. Polling rate, I only use 2000 Hz max. I never use 8000. Of course, you could use 8000. I haven't tried it, mostly because I don't feel a need to. It feels kind of gimmicky, but I have seen on other YouTube videos it is a very solid 8000 Hz polling rate. But if you want better battery life, 1000, 2000 Hz polling rate, you'll be fine. Switches, so there are optical Gen 3 switches, solid left click, solid right click. You can kind of see here throughout the whole key, you kind of get the same click, which is a very good thing about this mouse. I know a lot of other mices where they have the solid shell, this isn't connected here. You'll get a different click here you get here, especially if you're holding your mouse more back here. You kind of want that constant feel, so holding your mouse back here, holding your mouse up here, you're gonna get that solid feel. The left right click over here, side buttons, solid. They're very well positioned. I use some for my keybinds and Valorant. No issues, feel solid, perfect placement. I never accidentally press on anything. The scroll wheel, I don't use it that much, but when I'm scrolling through sites, perfect. No wobble at all, perfect. Really nice click on the scroll wheel too, and overall really nice. You got your DPI power button, you got your mouse feet. Mouse feet on this are solid. The performance on them, especially on this Artisan, I think it's the 0. Solid. I haven't had any issues. I know some people might like the Tiger Ice Skates more on this, or maybe some like a Magic Ice Skates I've heard of, but Razer does have very solid skates. I wouldn't feel the need to replace them. They're very solid. No issues. Very smooth glide. Definitely not a limiting factor of this mouse. If anything, a really nice factor that you get solid feet. The battery life of this mouse, I think I haven't charged it more than twice, 3 times maybe. And I play pretty consistently, maybe like an hour a day, maybe 2 hours a day sometimes, maybe sometimes much longer. But battery is very solid. It'll last in more than a week, I'm sure, even if you play a lot. And the dongles, very nice. a USB-C charging, of course, to plug it in, you should be up and running maybe like 20 minutes. Sometimes I even plug it in for like 5 minutes and I'll be able to play for a long time. Maybe another thing to consider is the fact that when you are plugging it into charge, you're not gonna be able to play with this mouse. Yeah, of course you could play, not competitively though, definitely not competitively. This cable that they use, it was very, very thick. So if you see that, it's a very thick braided cable. Nice cable, of course, with the green Razer USB-C. But of course not ideal for playing games. You would want a lighter cable, a more flowy cable. This is very thick, very stiff, very heavy. So not recommended. If you're gonna charge this, you're not gonna be able to play with it. You could play with it, but it's definitely not gonna be helping you. The Razer dongle, here it is. 8K point rate, like I said, no issue with it. Sometimes it doesn't want to stay solid on the flat, or sometimes it doesn't stay solid or flat on my mouse pad or on my desk. But no issues with it, no performance issues. That's like a little bug with it, but I'm sure if you bent this cable in the right way, you could get it set back wherever you want. So the software, you do get your DPI, your macros, your remapping, very easy to use, no RGB, anything like that. Of course, we're adding your little button here, which, yeah, you can see here. I guess you could say that RGB, but not really. So comfort for long sessions, very solid. Playing longer sessions with this honestly felt better than most of my I've had. Like I said, the feeling of it, everything, very solid, very enjoyable. And yeah, overall it just felt very solid. Smells. When we're tracking or flicking with this, I feel solid and better. I honestly feel more consistent. I feel like I could get micro adjustments done better. The flicks felt solid. My micro adjustments, my crosshair placement, so easier to stay at a constant level on my crosshair, which is very important in games like Valorant and CS:GO. Compared to other mice, I would say like the Superlight V2 or the Viper V2 Pro, Lamzu. I'll say the main thing to consider here, it's a bigger mouse. So despite the shape, despite the clicks, the build quality, how high quality feels, it is a bigger mouse. So larger hands, medium to larger hands, the larger side of medium hands is where you're going to want to be with this mouse. Even of course with larger hands, you might not like the shake, but it is a very solid shake. And yeah, overall I really like it. Definitely much more of a aggressive shape compared to something like the Superlight, which is kind of more toned down, kind of more like a potato, which I know a lot of people describe like that. This is a lot more, I would say, contoured to claw grip. I really like these dents in on both sides. It really feels locked in. So contour for claw grip, you get these little dents inside, you get more of a contoured feeling. Even with the left and right clicks, you get this kind of contour inward. Very solid, really feels really locked in compared to something with the Superlight, where it's more of just a brick with a few curves. I know some people like that. It's a very universal shape that can be comfortable, but I feel like this is kind of a step above that in being a shape that is comfortable for, I guess, a little bit more of a specific type of audience, while still keeping the fact that it's definitely a very versatile mouse for a lot of different hand sizes. On the larger side, of course, and a lot of different gripping styles, like a relaxed claw, regular claw, maybe fingertip grip if that's for you. This could work, probably not the best, but yeah. For relaxed claw, definitely more contoured, more fit to a grip like that. So value. This kind of, to wrap it up, the value of this mouse around $100 and some dollars, 140 I think. Sometimes a little bit more, a little bit less. I mean, it's a solid mouse. Some of the highest quality you're gonna get with a mouse. I did get this mouse for $80, so for around $80, $120 maybe, it's a good price. And for that price, of course, it's an excellent mouse. But for retail price, I feel like you can look at other options, maybe in Lamzu's mouse options. Logitech, you're getting similar pricing, so I'm not sure about that. Maybe Lamzu, look at Pulsar. and compare it to those mice, see if you like some of those. But if you do have larger hands, if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, or if you're willing to buy from eBay for a lower price, it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it for some people with larger hands that wouldn't fit some smaller mice, or with larger hands that want a claw grip that's more tailored to them, that has a little bit more curvature, a little bit more of an aggressive shape compared to something like super light or many other ergonomic mice in this category. So the price, I would say it depends heavily on how much you get this mice for and if it's worth it or not. Overall, I think it's worth it for some people, not worth it for others. There's definitely other options. It's definitely very expensive. If you can get some discounts on it, it's definitely worth it. If you can't, it gets more iffy, but it's still a very great mice, no matter what you pay for it. So just to conclude, the pros of this mice, it's a larger mouse, so larger hands. I know a lot of people with larger hands can't really find a mouse for them. Larger mouse, so using this with larger hand, it's gonna feel solid. Of course, that's also a con in the way that if you have smaller hand, definitely not gonna be for you. Well, I won't say definitely not, that very likely that this is gonna be too big for you. It's gonna feel clunky, bulky. You're not gonna be able to, I guess, get a really solid grip on it. And some of my pros, the build quality, the coding, buttons, getting the newest features, the highest quality, build quality, newest generation, latest technology. If you want that, if you feel like you're looking for that, this mouse is very solid for all those areas. But of course, you don't need that. Most sensors nowadays are going to be solid. Of course, it's the top of the top, but that doesn't mean that you can't get the cheaper mice with a cheaper sensor that's not going to give you the same performance, at least in actual game use. The biggest con of this mouse is kind of just the price. So there's some cheaper mice out there, like offered by Lamzu, offered by Pulsar, offered by other brands that have pretty much a lot of the same features at a lower price. But yeah, if you want the top of the top, you have larger hands, you're looking for maybe a specific type of coating where you want it to feel more thin when you have your sweaty hands, your moist hands from playing. You're looking for solid clicks, solid shape for larger hands, the highest end technology, this is definitely going to be the mouse for you. Smaller hands, people that don't want to spend that much, and people that may not need the latest technology, may not need this 8,000 hertz polling rate and the sensor, that might not be for you. It's a solid mouse overall. Kind of just depends on who you are. And yeah, that's all I can really say for it. Overall, if you guys want to buy it, I'll have a link in the description. If you guys have any other questions, I'll be looking at the comments. You guys can ask me anything. If you guys want a review in correlation with the RSN 0 that I use, you guys can put down below. I can tell you guys if it's a good combo or not, which, I mean, going off the fact that I'm using it, it's a good combo, but I can go more in depth with that. And yeah, see you guys next time. Thank you.